there's like two elections in Georgia. There's two elections. There's John Ossoff versus David Purdue. This is John Ossoff.
We have the power to hold them accountable at the ballot box to deliver health and jobs and justice for all the people, Savannah. So, Savannah, say vote. Say vote. Health, jobs, and justice for all the people. Let's talk about jobs. Imagine what is possible.
All right, that was way too big of a pregnant pause. So you have Purdue had received 49.7% of the vote on November in the general election, but you have to get more than 50% in Georgia in order to win. So Purdue, David Purdue, the Republican, won, beating the other guy 49.7% to 47.9%, 49.7 to 47.9. So not a 1%, 2% difference, very slim margin. But David Purdue didn't beat the 50% threshold, so therefore the runoff election on January 5th, 2021 is going to happen. That's when the Georgia's runoff election between David Purdue and John Ossoff is going to happen. So here is Senator David Purdue.
Last night, we've been all over from Hayhire to Hiawassee. I swear, y'all, I'm running against a guy that doesn't know where Hayhire is, I'm sure.
I swear, you guys, daggone it, golly gee, I swear to God, Wally, golly gee, goddamn motherfucking bitch.
But I am so proud of y'all to come out today. It is a beautiful day, God's day, and I just want to share a couple of thoughts with you.
Oh, boy. Okay, let's go ahead, David Purdue, I'll let you.
To our allies to stand up to China, and I'm very concerned about that right now. But after 8 years of the lowest economic output that Joe Biden and Barack Obama gave us, after 8 years of apologizing for America by Barack Obama, after 8 years of destroying our foreign policy and just backing up from China and other people who would do us harm, Donald J. Trump got elected and made America great again, y'all.
Make America great again, y'all. I ain't gonna go down like that. I'm gonna go, y'all, and ain't, and I'm gonna...
But here we are, at a moment in history. You're going to hear it in just a minute. We have a man that flew all the way from Alaska last night to get here to Osceola. Came overnight to here, to Brooklyn, to bring this message to you. So I'm going to be very brief. The moment in history is right now when our generation is facing the challenge that every generation has had in 230 years. It happens. There are two seats that will determine the future of the United States, and it's right here in Georgia. And I'm telling you guys, I'm one of the two. I didn't ask for this, neither did Kelly. And I'm here on behalf of Kelly. She's up there with Travis Tritt today on behalf of me, and we're fighting together to hold these two seats to make darn sure that these Democrats don't come down here and get the majority in the United States Senate. Because you know what they're going to do? Don't listen to me. Listen.
It's interesting that he's running against Barack Obama. I thought it was Joe Biden you're running against. Isn't it Joe motherfucking Biden? But no, he's got to point to the blackface in Georgia to get all of his white supremacist, Confederate, backwards, low-life, KKK, Nazi pieces of shit to vote for him. It's kind of crazy. Both of these senators are appealing to their base. It doesn't seem like they're trying to appeal to the other side. So they're just going 100 miles an hour just saying, you know, we're going to be... Then you heard him say, darn sure, you best make darn sure you don't come down here to Georgia with your shenanigans, with your outside agitation, Martin Luther King.
Listen to Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer says, oh yeah, we're going to get those two seats down there. Then they'll have the majority if Biden ends up being president. If they have the majority, then Chuck Schumer has promised he'll change the voting rule so he can do everything with 51 votes. Then what is he going to do? He's going to add D.C. and Puerto Rico as new states. He's going to pass the court. He's going to get rid of the Electoral College. What does that allow him to do?
He's going to have D.C. and Puerto Rico will become states. Oh, shit. What's wrong with that? D.C., that's the capital of America. Puerto Rico, they're Americans. What's the problem with that?
It'll allow him to have a one-party system, okay, and have total control. Ask the people in Cuba how that works out. Ask the people in Venezuela how that works out. Ask the people in North Korea, Iran. You think that people are trying to break into Venezuela right now?
Max Blumenthal is.
Democrats would have bought us a vaccine within a year? No. It took Donald Trump to break through the bureaucracy up there. Do you think?
Fantastic. Okay, what do you say, John Ossoff?
This is the New South, Savannah. And we're running against
the New South, Savannah.
Just think about how far we've come. Just pause with me and think about how far we've come. Georgia is the most competitive battleground state in the United States. The whole country is watching us, Georgia. The whole country is watching Savannah. And we're running against the Bonnie and Clyde of corruption in politics.
He kind of laughed about that. Apparently, the people in the audience knew that he was going to say the Bonnie and Clyde of corruption in politics. So apparently, David Purdue is Clyde. I don't think Bonnie and Clyde's that was Depression era, so they were like go-getters, and it's like one of the greatest love stories out there. So I'm not for sure if that's an insult. They were criminals, I guess you could say that part, but are they lovers? I mean, is David Purdue and that Loeffler, are they going to, I mean...
Do you think the Democrats would have fired 5,000 people in the VA? No, it took
Donald Trump fired everybody in the VA.
Donald Trump to do that. Do you think the Democrats would have ever moved the embassy to Jerusalem? No, it took Donald Trump. Help me out here, guys.
Help me out here, guys. Come on, clap. Let's get it on up. Get it on up. So that's David Purdue and his please clap, guys. Come on, please clap.
Donald Trump to do that. And most importantly, you think the Democrats would ever have gotten out of the Iran nuclear deal? No, it took Donald Trump to do that. So what are we going to do right now? We're going to stand firm in Georgia and make sure we deny the Democrats control, total control, and we're going to protect what President Trump has done for our country in the last 4 years, right?
No, that sounds awful.
Savannah, how do we wind up with David and Kelly? How do we wind up with David and Kelly? Two United States senators more concerned with lining their own pockets in office than protecting the health and the financial well-being of we the people who pay their salaries. But we can hold them accountable, Savannah. We can hold them accountable at the ballot box. Now say...
Well, there's an advertisement here.
You're invited to Jamie's house.
I'm going to be showing you my mom. Say vote! Say vote! Retirement is coming for David Purdue and Kelly Loeffler. And we have, that's called hope. Because Savannah, Donald Trump is leaving. Donald Trump is leaving. And Georgia sent Donald Trump packing. Georgia voters sent Donald Trump packing. So now we have the opportunity to write the next chapter. The people, Savannah. Savannah, do you believe, like the Rev and I do, that health care is a human right and not just a privilege for those who can afford it or for those who live in the right zip code?
Hell yeah, health care is a human right. So force the vote. Hashtag force the vote.
We can establish health care as a human right in this great country. Every Georgian deserves the best health care available in the world. I was just in Cuthbert, Georgia a couple of days ago. Their hospital closed in October. In the middle of a pandemic, their hospital closed. One of 9 rural hospitals that have closed in 10 years. Off at the pharmacy every day when Georgia families can't afford the insulin that we need to survive.
Now, I want to tell you, I want to remind you what another great American said to us. Ronald Reagan said that freedom, and that's what this is about, because the price of socialism is freedom. Freedom. Bonnie and I have lived all over the world. We've been in places where people are not free. We couldn't gather like this in some places that Bonnie and I live. Most people in the world can't do this. We are so blessed and we take it for granted. But Reagan reminded us that freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction.
It stops now, Savannah. We have the power to hold them accountable at the ballot box to deliver health and jobs and justice for all the people, Savannah. And justice for all the people. Let's talk about justice. Let's talk about justice. See, my mother came to this country as an immigrant when she was 23 years old. She came here alone as a young woman because she believed in what this country stands for. That doesn't mean, by the way, that she indulged some fantasy about our past. That doesn't mean that she didn't recognize how much further this country has to go. And Hosea Williams and Amelia Boynton led hundreds across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, and they were met by dogs and billy clubs and fire hoses. Their courage, their sacrifice, paid.
After delivering 536 babies, Dr. Harris's hospital was scheduled to close. Then,
paved the way for passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The next 2 years can be the most productive for civil rights and voting rights in the United States of America since 1964 and 1965. But only if we vote, Savannah. It's up to us. It's up to Georgia voters. So if you are ready to fight for justice, if you are ready to fight for equal justice under the law for all people, if you are ready to fight for voting rights, we need to work these next 3 weeks.
Yeah, work!
We don't pass it down in the bloodstream. It's got to be fought for, protected, and passed on so they can do the same thing. Or one day, in our sunset years, we'll be sitting around telling our children and our children's children what it was once like when women and men were free in America. Not on my watch, not on your watch, not on Donald J. Trump's watch.
We need to work like we've never worked before, and we need to do this from a place of love, a place of compassion, a place of decency and empathy. These 4 years of hatred and fear and racism are coming to a close. Georgia, we will write the next chapter. It is such an honor to be running alongside a man such as the Reverend Raphael Warnock.
With your help, we're going to win Georgia and save America and make darn sure the road to socialism does not run through the state of Georgia. God bless you guys. Thank you.
And what we are asking you to do, Savannah, is to get ready to work these next 3 weeks for record-setting turnout. Get everybody you know, everybody in your life, everybody at church, everybody at work, everybody in your neighborhood out to the polls. Let's make history, Savannah. Let's make history, Georgia. Let's show the country what this state stands for and send a message that echoes down through history and across this great country. And now please join me in welcoming someone that I have come to call a friend and an inspiration, a moral leader for our state and for our country. One of Georgia's 2 next United States senators, a native son of Savannah, the Reverend Raphael Warnock. Thank you so much, Savannah. Thank you.
So just a couple comments off the top of my head. David Purdue, just the optics between David Purdue and John Ossoff. John Ossoff seems to be making a bigger show with his speeches. It seems rhetoric. He's, inflection in his voice and has using inflection in his voice. So David Purdue, meanwhile, looks, he's got the pea coat. Seems like he's an older, tall gentleman, has his shit together, and he talks kind of plainly, but, he gets a little bit of excitement. Essentially, he's just kind of like, hey, guys, I'm in there, I'm going to, take care of this, take care of that, I'm going to do that, do this, whereas John Ossoff is like, listen here, Savannah! I am John Ossoff! So on the optics, David Purdue wins over John Ossoff. Optics isn't everything. The trend, the momentum, what the John Ossoff has America on his side. So America kicked Donald Trump out, and then this election they barely lost, right? So now he's got an opportunity. This is fantastic. This is exciting. So now the runoff election will allow the Democrat, who actually lost by 1% in the general election, to beat the person. So now it's going to, John Ossoff has got to beat David Purdue. Apparently, David Purdue and Donald Trump tried to do a lawsuit and it didn't work. So we're doing another runoff election. This is what we have to do for America. If the motherfucker don't want to leave, we'll have to have another election or something, right? All that fraud and shit. Oh, he's a lying authoritarian dictator. Nah, let's just move on.com. So the momentum is on John Ossoff's side, right? Joe Biden just got in there, and it would be better for Georgia to have an ally instead of a, person that's going to be antagonizing the shit out of Biden. But at the same, David Purdue made his, whatever, they made their case. You heard what they had to say. And so, yeah, a point for John Ossoff, because in history is on his side. The moment, where we're at right now as a nation is on his side, but the optics is on David Purdue's side. I like John Ossoff also. He seems, David Purdue says he didn't want D.C. and Puerto Rico to become a state. Why not? D.C. is the capital of America. Puerto Rico is a bunch of Americans. John Ossoff is for that. John Ossoff is for the health care. John Ossoff will help us get, Medicare for all. And so, yeah, on the issues, I believe I was going to be on John Ossoff's side versus David Purdue's side, but you never know. You never know. You might have a right-wing Democrat and a left-wing Republican. So it seems to me it's pretty clear. I would vote for John Ossoff, in spite of the optics, in spite of him trying to inspire us. That's, that takes a lot of effort to not only, write the speech, but then to do it right. And I'm not sure if he did it. He did it okay. He did all right. So, yeah, David Purdue, John Ossoff is going to be running January 5th, 2021. The runoff election is January 5th, 2021. Go vote, Georgia. Go vote for John Ossoff. You're allowed to vote right now, actually, so go vote right now. And that's John Ossoff versus David Purdue. Audio. Force the vote. Peace.